Okay, let's dive right in. We're going to tackle one of the most confusing and honestly one of the most frightening sensations you can have, feeling short of breath. That awful feeling of air hunger, even when you've been to the doctor and they've told you your lungs are clear and your oxygen is totally fine.
So, have you ever had that tightness in your chest? That feeling like you just can't get a full, satisfying breath, no matter how hard you try? Well, if you have, you are definitely not alone. It is a completely baffling experience, and we're going to investigate exactly why it happens. This feeling actually has a medical name. It's called dyspnea. And what's so interesting is that for so many people, the real cause has nothing to do with their lungs. Instead, all the clues point to a complex and fascinating communication network, your nervous system. To really get to the bottom of this, let's treat it like a detective story. We're on a case trying to solve the mystery of this bizarre physical sensation, and we're just going to follow the evidence, one clue at a time. Okay, so our first clue takes us deep inside the body's automatic control center. You can think of it like the command hub that's always running in the background. But in this case, its security system has gotten a little too sensitive. So deep in your brainstem is working 24/7 to manage your breathing. It's constantly checking your blood for levels of carbon dioxide or CO2. Normally, this system is flawless. It just adjusts your breath and you never even have to think about it. But what happens when it gets thrown out of whack?
This right here, this is where the problem starts. See, in a regulated system, normal little ups and downs in CO2 are no big deal. But in a system that's dealing with chronic stress or a condition like dysautonomia, that command center becomes hypersensitive. It starts treating normal CO2 signals like a major emergency. It's like a smoke detector that goes off every time you make toast. And that false alarm kicks off this awful, vicious cycle. Your brainstem sounds the alarm, which triggers a fight or flight response, making you overbreathe. Now get this, that overbreathing actually lowers your CO2 too much, which in turn constricts your blood vessels. And that constriction can make you feel dizzy. And ironically, it creates an even stronger feeling of air hunger. Of course, these symptoms are scary, so they create more anxiety, which just tells the brainstem, see, the threat is real, and the whole loop starts all over again.
All right, let's move on to our next clue. This mystery isn't just happening in your brainstem, the rest of your body is involved too. So now we need to investigate two more physical factors: the way you're actually physically breathing and the way your blood is moving around.
So when we're calm, we tend to breathe from our diaphragm, those deep, efficient belly breaths. But when you're under chronic stress, your body can shift into what's called chest breathing. And this is a really shallow, tiring pattern that overworks all the little muscles in your neck and chest. And most importantly, it sends a constant "I'm stressed" signal right back up to your brain.
And the consequences of breathing like this are huge. Your main breathing muscle, the diaphragm, gets all tight and isn't used properly. That creates that awful feeling of chest constriction and just makes you feel exhausted. It literally restricts your lungs from fully expanding. On top of that, it weakens the calming signals that are sent through the vagus nerve, which runs right through the diaphragm, basically keeping your nervous system stuck on high alerts. Now, for people with autonomic conditions like POTS, there's another layer to this whole thing. When they stand up, their blood vessels don't tighten up as they should, which can cause blood to just kind of pool in their lower body. This means less blood is getting back up to the heart and, really importantly, to the brain. So what does the body do? It tries to fix it. The brain basically says, hey, I'm not getting enough up here. And it tells the lungs to breathe harder and faster to try and get more oxygen delivered. And the result is this incredibly frustrating mismatch where you're putting in all this effort to breathe, but it feels like you're getting nowhere because the real problem is with circulation, not with your lungs. Okay, we've gathered our clues. We've got a hypersensitive brainstem. We have weird breathing patterns, and we have circulatory issues. So now it's time for the big reveal. What's the common thread that ties all of this together? So let's just do a quick recap of the clues. We've got those super sensitive CO2 sensors in the brainstem. We have a stressed out breathing pattern coming from the chest. We've even got circulatory issues like blood pooling, and kind of tying it all together is the brain itself, which can take all these physical signals and amplify them into a feeling of real, immediate danger. So what's the deal here? What connects all of these different clues? Is there some single organ that's failing that we've missed? Or is there something else kind of behind the scenes, orchestrating this whole experience? And here's the answer. This is the crucial point. It is not lung failure. All the evidence points to a communication failure. The problem isn't that your body parts are broken, it's that their communication lines have gotten totally crossed, and it's leading to this massive system-wide misunderstanding. It really all boils down to this. Your autonomic nervous system is stuck on high alert. It's overreacting to completely normal changes in your body. Your emotional brain then slaps a danger label on these intense feelings, and then your body adapts with things like chest breathing, which just fuels the entire stress loop. The whole thing is driven by a nervous system that, at its core, feels fundamentally unsafe. But understanding the real culprit, this communication breakdown, is actually really empowering. It means we can shift our focus away from that scary fight for breath, and we can turn towards the real solution, restoring a sense of balance and safety to the entire system. And this is just so important. The answer is not to try and force your breathing. Anybody who's gone through this knows that trying to control your breath usually just makes the anxiety and the symptoms even worse. You're just adding more stress to an already overloaded system. The real solution is to help your nervous system feel safe again. Because when your brain's perception of threat goes down, the whole system can finally stand down. And your breathing, it just starts to resync all by itself. It gets deeper, slower, and more efficient without you having to do a thing.
And I think this quote just summarizes the entire mystery perfectly. When your breath feels out of control, it's not that your body forgot how to breathe. It's that your nervous system forgot it's safe. The path back to comfortable breathing isn't about more control. It's about reestablishing that deep, fundamental sense of safety within your own body. So, what does it take to help your nervous system feel safe? Well, that's a question worth exploring.